Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon, back with Jesse.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, man. We are on episode 8. Can you believe it? 8.
No, I can't.
We just had to count them back because I didn't believe we were on 8.
Either did I.
So
we're there, though.
We found it. 8 of them. So if you haven't listened to the other 7, you should check those out. Yeah, check those out. Get caught up. And then here we go on number 8, right?
Yeah. Dive in.
Yeah, we know we just got back here from the long weekend, the extended weekend as we call it, right?
Yeah, it was much needed, that was for sure.
Man, I just can't get going this morning, though.
No, it's rough.
It's rough right now.
It's been struggle bus here for sure.
We're doing what we can, though. We'll get this thing rolling. But today we're going to talk about sales. And, I think there's a lot of missed information, I guess is the word I'm looking for, when it comes to sales. A lot of people think all sales are the same. And, there's a very different world from a commission-driven sales guy to a consultative sales guy like yourself, Jesse, correct?
Right. Correct.
So, as we get into this thing, hopefully today we'll teach you a little bit about what to look for just on a sales side of things when you're buying a machine. Let's be honest, you're going to buy a machine, you have to talk to probably somebody in sales more than likely.
There's a good chance of it.
Good chance you're going to talk to somebody in sales. So it's nice to kind of understand the buying process and the technology and, kind of the history of sales here in the CNC world, because I really think it makes you a better consumer as well. If you kind of understand what to expect and kind of the direction things are going and why certain questions are asked and why certain things are, kind of dove into, if you will. We try to find out a little bit more about certain topics, and sometimes people are like, why do you need to know that? Well, here's why.
Right, absolutely. We need to know your project. We need to understand it.
Yeah, exactly. And, as we get into it, I guess, the first thing I kind of want to talk on is, the evolution of buying equipment. There's a...
Yeah. Tell me, how did sales start out when ShopSabre launched, Brandon?
Yeah, so, the evolution of sales has really changed. It's not even just with ShopSabre, but in general, you go back 20 years ago, right, when ShopSabre was founded, the internet was kind of new. It wasn't really what it is today. So
still in its infancy.
Yeah, it was. And it was still an unknown. A lot of people, there were people out there, it's a crazy fad, it's going to disappear. Like, no, it's probably not going anywhere.
It's here to stay.
Yeah, it's here to stay. And the reality is, with the way sales has evolved, it's allowed us to connect with people we never would have had the opportunity to connect with before. And there's a lot of companies that built their companies around the brick and mortar sales. You got these little dealers all over the world, and even let's go and look at some of the bigger consumers out there, or big box stores, for us consumers. You look at the Best Buys of the world. Okay.
Yeah.
Remember how big Best Buy used to be?
Yeah, they were huge.
They're still a big company, but it's a lot different now when you buy things from Best Buy. It's not walking in and browsing on everything. Most of their stores are a pickup location. You do all your shopping online and you pick up from their location.
Yeah.
And there's a heck of a lot less stores than there used to be.
I remember going into Best Buy just to walk around and play with stuff. Now you can't do that anymore at all.
I know.
Like you said, you just go to pick your stuff up.
Yeah, I remember going in as a kid and playing video games.
Yeah.
Mom would walk around and you were just sitting there playing video games, for hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just not that way anymore. And so it's the same thing with buying equipment. It used to be, 20 years ago, a guy had to come out to you and, he was driving all over the country. This guy was driving everywhere, walking into shops that he'd never met. Oh, hey, there's a shop, pull in, introduce himself, whatever the fabricator was doing, and, try to convince him that a CNC machine was the right thing for him. And the reality is, as the consumer, you didn't know what you didn't know because there was nowhere to get the information. You were kind of relying on that guy who just walked in your shop to give you the information you need.
Right, yeah, the internet wasn't what it is, so you couldn't just go click, read. You had to have that guy come to the shop to get the information you were looking for.
Yeah, and the best part about that is, you think about it, is that guy would talk to you and it'd be like, hey, Jesse, this is what you need, blah, blah, blah. I'll send you some information. He had to drive back, prepare some information, put it in the mail. Yeah, and send it to you. It was like weeks long before you even knew what you were getting into. Now it's like minutes.
The mail is here. Right.
And it's
information.
Correct. We're in that instant, world right now where everything has to happen. I can do something as fast as I possibly can, and it still wasn't fast enough for somebody.
Absolutely. You talk about that all the time. People want it today, but they want it built yesterday.
Exactly. And there's just so much that has changed in that world. And you talk about that driving all over the country.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's a no thank you for me too. And then the worst part was these machines. They were the price of a house. They were $250,000. They were big machines.
Yeah.
And so putting them in a home garage was really not practical for most people.
Not happening.
So your clientele was a very niche market. You didn't have as many people to talk to. And then when they were interested, they had to fly all over the world to learn anything. So they had to fly to the factories, or they had to fly to a customer's location to try to just understand it. And in today's world, we don't really have to do that as much anymore, because the internet obviously has a lot of videos. We've seen the Router Bob videos.
Yep.
I mean, there's hundreds of videos out there that we've created that show you what you used to have to travel to the facility just to see.
That's crazy.
I know. And so you think about the buying time there as well. So, you had a lot going on there. And then you had to talk about even buying a machine then, like to get approved and to go through. I mean, a $250,000 machine wasn't just a simple approval like it is today.
Right. You're talking weeks.
Yeah. It took a process. The bank wanted to see a bunch of stuff. I mean, it was a lot harder to get into CNC back then than what it is today. And as you start looking at that, there's still companies out there today that operate on that model.
That's crazy.
Is that not crazy?
That is crazy.
I mean, there's guys, and you still hear it when you talk to customers, like, oh, I got the local guy. Like, man.
Why?
Yeah. Like,
I have FaceTime.
Yeah.
You want to see my ugly mug? We'll hook up on FaceTime.
No, we don't want to see it.
No,
That's
you
why.
don't.
That's why we don't let you travel. We don't want you to show me what you look like.
I don't want people to see that either.
Yeah. But when you look at that, like I said, that model has changed. And what has that done for the industry? Well, it's made information more accessible.
Right.
It's allowed the consumer to be, more intelligent.
Yeah, more educated.
Yeah, you're dealing with people that understand a lot more when they're coming to you the first time. And the other side of it is it's allowed you to buy products for a fraction of the cost nowadays, because there's more competitiveness to it.
Right. And you can go direct to the consumer.
Correct. Exactly. You don't have to have that middleman anymore. So, when you look at that, now it's all remote sales, if you will. A lot of these big companies, we're remote sales. We are.
Yep.
ShopSabre's remote sales. We have internet sales and demonstrations. So we do a lot of stuff with video. We have a lot of stuff where we can do software simulations. We can, do demonstrations on software. There's downloads that you can download the CAD CAM software and play with it ahead of time.
Absolutely.
You couldn't do any of that before. And now you start looking about like e-learning. I mean, let's be honest. COVID was last year, and it changed the world. I mean,
it did.
Zoom meetings and people working remotely. It's opened the world up to the ability to do things remotely.
Absolutely.
And one of those things that changed was e-learning. We have educational courses now that are all electronic. You don't even have to fly.
Nation.
Yeah, Sabre Nation, but you don't even have to fly all over the world to do that anymore. It's still there if you want to, but the reality is the world is moving towards this digital aspect.
Yep.
And like it or not, that's where we're going. I love it. Yeah, I mean, but that's where you're going.
Yep.
The reality is, if you're going to stay competitive in business, this is where you're going to go.
Yep, absolutely.
CNC is the future, and CNC is going to be what shops need to stay relevant. I mean, there's a lot of shops out there probably listening to this that are still running without a CNC machine, and I'm going to be the person to say it, but it's time you start thinking about it, because if you don't, your competition is going to leave you in the dust.
Yeah, you got to close that gap.
Yeah, you really do.
Yep.
And, you start talking about how, these sales guys get paid. I'm just going to talk about it here for a second.
Yeah, let's jump into that.
Yeah, we used to be commission driven here at ShopSabre. When I took over the sales department, there was a lot of commission structures, and to be completely honest with you, there's too much trying to figure out numbers to pull that off. And you're not taking care of the customer then.
No, you're not.
Trying to figure out how to take care of your numbers, and it just doesn't work.
Yep.
And that came, I come from a background of, I worked with the realistic side of customers. I worked in the automotive industry previously, and we were paid on how well we took care of our customers.
Yep.
And I thought, that's got to be a way that you got to take care of customers in the CNC world too. And to me, the customer service side should be the most important side.
I agree.
The money should get taken care of based on how well you take care of your customers.
That comes with it. The money comes with the taking care of your customer.
Correct. And so that's where the commission-driven sales side kind of changed. And for me, you've seen it now. I mean, if you kind of look back, when I changed it was right around the time that also the car dealerships started changing. You don't see the commission-driven sales anymore there either. It's the one price. You see it on the window.
No haggling.
Yeah, and there's so many guys that get mad about it. They walk, I'm not buying a car unless I can haggle. Well, I'm sorry. It's the way the world is going again. We're not living in the 70s anymore.
You sure you don't want just the cheapest price?
Yeah.
We'll get you out of here?
Yeah.
No, I want to argue with you.
Yeah, I'd rather fight. Let's fight about something. Like, no, that's not what we want to do. Nobody has time for that.
No one has time for that.
You want to fight pretty or you want to win?
So, when you look at this, let's look at the commission-driven side of it. Do you get what you want, or do you get what's easier for them to sell on that side of it? When it's a commission-driven sales guy, he makes more money by selling you something quickly and moving on to the next sale, does he not?
Absolutely. I know I'm a lot more hesitant when I know I'm dealing with a guy who's on a commission pay, right? Like, why are you selling me this? What are the benefits? Is this what I really need?
Correct. And let's be honest, he's going to sell you what's easy. He's not going to make his job harder, because the harder he makes his job, the less money he makes.
Right.
So that salesperson that's making commission is pushing you on whatever is the easiest thing to sell you on. So
Or what pays them the most.
Yep. So if you believe something and you come into the conversation and you believe something, he believes it now too. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that is he believes something different every person he talks to, because he's just going to believe and tell you what you want to hear so he can make the quick sale.
Get that paycheck.
Where I think when you start looking at a consultative sales organization, you start to find sales guys who give you a little bit more pushback. And sometimes people don't like it. I'll be honest with you.
Right.
People don't like being pushed back against, like when you try to correct them on something that they think they know, but the reality is you want to give them a little bit more so they can better understand it.
Right.
Sometimes they think like, well, why don't you just sell me what I want to buy? It's not that I don't want to sell you what you want to buy. It's I want you to buy what you really need.
I don't want to sell you something that doesn't apply to what you're doing either, right? I want to know exactly what you're doing and sell you the right piece of equipment the first time.
Exactly. Yep. And when you start looking at, do you get options that you need or the ones that pay them more? That's another, realistic question you got to ask yourself. There's one that still gets me to this day. Cabinet makers, they call us up and they'll be like, Brandon, I need a drill block. Why? And then they're like, well, we're drilling holes. How many holes are you drilling? And then you start asking the questions and you start finding out more about their business, and you find out that there's absolutely no reason they need a drill block. Like the drill block is going to make them $0.00. Yep. Like you're not going to make anything. It's going to cost you money. But the other sales guy told me I needed it. Well, there's only one reason the other guy told you that. Well, there might be two. He either has one on the floor and it's easy for him to sell. Again, going back to it's easy.
Yep.
Or two,
he's getting a fat commission on that drill block.
He makes a pretty good commission off that drill block. Yep. So there's one of two things happening there. So of course he's going to steer you towards it, And it's the same thing with these loaders, unloaders. I hear so many guys like, I got to have the loader, unloader.
Why?
How many sheets a day are you doing? Well, 6. I do 6. Yeah, 6 sheets a day. Okay, you don't need a loader, unloader. Like, don't even think about it. It's a waste of your money.
Yep.
Like, complete waste of your money. Now you have more maintenance, more costs, more room needed, because you had 6 sheets to do.
Yep.
Like, get yourself a lift assist table, put it next to it, and you're done.
You're good.
Yeah, like just let's skip that whole loader unloader thing, And you start looking at that, and again, it goes back to commission-driven sales guys. They're pushing you on what they're making money on or what they have available, or
whatever the spiff that month is.
Yeah, the
right?
spiff. They would sell loaders this month. Yeah, I mean whatever it is. But you can buy more machine when you remove commission from a deal, simply because more of your dollar goes towards what you're buying.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the reality is, okay, if you have a $100,000 machine, let's just throw it out there, $100,000 machine.
Woo.
Yeah. But that commission to the sales guy is 20 to 30%. So what did you really buy? A $70,000
sales guy.
Yeah, you bought a $70,000 machine with a sales guy. That's what you bought. I like it. You bought a sales guy. Yeah. No, that's really what you did. You basically bought the sales guy, because the reality is you're buying a $70,000 machine for $100,000.
Yep.
Or you could just go buy a $70,000 machine for $70,000.
It makes sense.
And then take your $30,000 and hire your own sales guy.
Sweet.
Seems like a good idea.
Perfect. That sounds what I'm doing.
Sell more product, use your machine, make more money, pay it off sooner.
Great plan.
Win-win.
Win.
Unless you're the sales guy.
Unless you're the sales guy that doesn't get that.
I just lost 20, 30%. Why is Brandon saying this? Sorry. My bad. Sorry, not sorry. But, when you start talking about it, the commission-driven sales, they really feed themselves first, you second.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. That's their job.
We've all experienced it.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying the sales guy's a bad guy. He's doing his job.
He's doing his job.
There's lots of good guys out there in the commission-driven world, and they're just doing their job.
Right.
And at the end of the day, they're taking care of their family. Good for them. But you should be looking at it as you're doing the same thing, right?
Absolutely.
Take care of your family. And there is a time and place for that. And to be honest with you, the world is moving away from commissions, if you want my opinion. I mean, if the customers aren't getting the commission, or if the sales guy isn't willing to work for the business based off the customer service, if the commission's what's driving him, he's probably doing it for the wrong reasons.
Wrong reasons, absolutely.
And that's really where we are. I mean, ShopSabre is a whole different organization. We drive ourselves forward based on the customers, and you know what? We're not always right. We've always said that, like, we're humans here too.
Yep.
But we're humans, and we're willing to admit that, and we take care of our customers and try to make it right, and we do whatever we can, because again, there was no commission involved. It's about taking care of the customer. So if the sales process takes us a little bit longer, we don't really care.
No, we don't.
I mean, the reality is we're there for the customer. If it takes us a week longer to sell the right machine, we'd rather do that than to just push them into something.
Oh, we get this all the time. I get customers on the phone. They're like, hey, man, I'll let you get going. I know I've taken a lot of your time. And I tell them every time, I'm not a commission-paid sales guy. I'm your consultant. We have all the time it needs to educate you. I love it. It allows us more time to actually talk with the customers, understand them more.
Absolutely. And that's really what it's about for us. And so as you get, into the other side of it is, let's talk about distribution sales, right? There's the commission-driven sales guy who's selling you from the factory.
Yep.
But then you have the guy who's selling you from distribution, who's either one of two things. Distribution can be two things. A lot of guys honestly think, oh, it's a dealer, right?
Right.
Well, it's not just that, but it's an importer too.
Yep.
Because again, they're distributing the machine to you. They're not building it.
Right.
So you start looking at these importers, you start looking at these dealers, and you got to touch on that a little bit because their loyalty is to the money, not to the product.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was to the product,
middleman.
Yeah, because if it was to the product, either the importer wouldn't be importing, they'd be building it in-house.
Yep.
Because then they're loyal to the product, but they're loyal to the money. That's why they ship it out from overseas. They can make more money, higher margins. And the dealer, again, they're a dealer. They have no loyalty to the brand. They have a loyalty to
Paycheck.
Yeah, who's going to pay them the commission? I mean, let's be honest. We take those calls all the time from dealers. They call us, what can you give me for a break? And we tell them, we don't.
We don't
and
deal with dealers.
we tell them, we'll give you a finder's fee. We'll work with you to try to, help your customer. And they literally respond to us, well, that doesn't pay my paycheck.
Well, we're not here to pay you.
Yeah, we're here to take care of our customers. And that's the reality is you start to see that. And these customers don't get taken care of it. More of our complaints that we see are related to people who had to go through a dealer or a distributor or things like that. You start seeing a lot of complaints because the guy told me something, but it didn't happen. Well, he probably didn't know what he was talking to you about, more than likely, because he didn't truly build the product. So he's going to tell you what he thinks or how it worked in the past or another, scenario of something he's worked on, and he doesn't really know that product you're buying.
No, he doesn't have any skin in the game, right?
Yeah, and again, going back to the percentage, they're going to make, a lot of these dealers ask us for 20 to 30% of the deal.
That's insane.
Yeah, and it's, where does that money go?
It gets passed to the customer. That's coming out of your pocket.
Exactly. That 20 to 30% gets paid for by the customer, but then it goes into really, what are you getting for that 20, 30%? You're getting their building, their guy, and basically you're helping pay for all the things that they have to for expenses to keep that local center open. Okay. Well, now I have a local center though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you and every other guy in the area uses that same center. So the problem is there's a lot less actually happening in your backyard than you think. A lot of people, how many sales guys do you hear tell you, well, I'll be there for you. If you need anything, you come see me.
Right, and then they never answer the phone.
Yeah, because they're the local guy, and the problem is not that they don't want to take care of you, but they have $300,000 machines they're selling.
Yep.
Okay, those are the three most important things in their life at that moment because there's $300,000 on the line right there. Do you think the guy who already paid him is as important anymore?
Nah. No, he's not.
He's taking a back seat to the guy he's telling that he'll be there for him if he needs him.
Yep.
And the problem is even if he wants to be there for you and he's got 4 customers in the area and all 4 call on the same day, he can't go to all 4 of them at the same time.
You're going to be waiting.
So somebody has to wait.
Yep.
And the reality is, if that's you that has to get stuck waiting, now you have a down machine, you have that local guy, and you still aren't getting the support. When you deal with the factory, we have a service center here. We have guys in-house that take care of you, and our entire job is to take care of you, and we can be in multiple places at one time.
We can.
And that's the benefit to you is it keeps you up and running, and you didn't pay 20 to 30% for it.
No, you paid a fair price.
Yeah, and we can still travel. I mean, the reality is if something goes down, we can go on site. We've done it. We send people on site, and the reality is we can get there almost as fast as your local guy is because if your machine's down today, more than likely he's got a schedule filled today. He'll be there tomorrow.
Even tomorrow too.
Yeah, he'll be there tomorrow, the next week, whatever. Right. And then when he gets there, that's assuming he has parts. That's assuming he understands the product well enough to actually fix it. A lot of these service centers require somebody from the factory anyways.
Yep. So we're going to come out, we're going to take a look at your machine, we're going to get a list of parts, we're going to go back, order those parts, and then we'll come out and fix your machine.
That doesn't sound like a very good deal to me.
But at least my machine's getting fixed, right?
It's not getting fixed.
No, it's not.
It's not. The guy's standing there telling you what's wrong that you already knew was wrong. Yeah, the machine doesn't work. Got it. Yeah. Check that one off the box. We figured that one out. Thanks. But the reality is you really don't know what you don't know. And a lot of times they can't guarantee they're going to know it.
Right.
We've talked to a lot of dealers, and there's a lot of guys that have openly said that they're still going to have somebody from the factory on site to take care of them.
So what's the point of having the dealer?
What's the middleman's point? He's just there to
get
basically
that fat
coordinate
check.
it. Like he's coordinating it. He's basically being your really expensive receptionist. Let me call ShopSabre and let ShopSabre know. No, that's not how it works. Like I don't need them to call for you. Like just call me.
Just call me.
Yeah, and we'll take care of it. Like we'll cut the middleman out. So that's a big part of it. Is your middleman slows you down because you call Jake at your dealer, right? Hey Jake, my machine's down. Okay, let me call the OEM. Click. Now you're waiting on Jake to call us. And then Jake calls us, we call Jake back, whatever happens there. Then Jake decides to call you after lunch. You know, you've spent 3-4 hours waiting for Jake.
This sounds terrible.
Or you could just call Brandon directly.
Yeah, just pick
or
up
call
the phone.
Jesse, and we just take care of you direct. So again, the middleman slows you down. It hurts support. It really doesn't get you taken care of because a lot of times they don't understand the product the way that the OEM does anyways. So they're going to have you chasing things that really they shouldn't have you chasing. When you say, I got this error going on, we have a servo offline, right? He goes, let's go check the connectors. Let's do this. Like when ShopSabre would say, let's just go pull the error code and find out why it says it's offline.
Right.
They don't know to do that. They don't know how to pull the error codes. They don't know how to do some of that stuff. So they're going to rely on us, or they're going to spend an hour trying to diagnose it themselves before they call us. And the problem is it's an hour's worth of work that you didn't get done.
Well, you got to think about it on the dealer side too, right? He knows he got that big fat paycheck from you. He knows that you paid him, so he wants to at least make it seem like he's taking care of you or doing the right thing for you, even though he may not completely understand the machine, right?
Exactly, and that's the biggest thing about it is they want to earn their paycheck. Let's be honest. They want you to feel that that value there, but sometimes that value that they're making you feel is fluff.
Yep.
It's not real. It's not really taking care of you. It's asking questions to keep things moving and to make you feel like they're diagnosing it, but it's not resolving the problem.
No, it's kicking it down the road.
They try to kick it down the road.
Yeah, it is. And, obviously the easiest thing for me to point out too is what happens when that dealer decides that there's a better brand out there. That there's a product that's better than what they were carrying before, and they decide we now sell this brand instead.
Where are you getting your support from now?
Yeah, now your support changed.
Yep.
Now your dealer has no loyalty to your product anymore, and they're simply going to tell you, we don't work with them anymore. Here's the factory's number. Call them. Now you just lost your local support.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank
No.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, bud. Thanks so much.
But yeah, I mean, when you start looking at that, it's not a great feeling to be dropped like that. But, the other thing about it too is what if that product that they were importing or that they were selling is discontinued? Again, they're not the OEM. They don't control that.
Nope.
So suddenly they still want to rep the brand, right? But now they can't get parts. Now they can't get you what you need. Now what happens?
Now you're stuck.
Again, you're stuck. And that's going back to, so you paid commission for something that they can't even take care of.
It makes no sense.
So, when you start looking at the consultative sales method, let's talk about the ShopSabre way of doing things here.
I love this way of doing things.
Okay, so we talk about the difference in facts versus bad mouthing. That's my favorite. We get customers that are like, all you're doing is bad mouthing the competitors.
No.
Like, show me where we really bad mouth the competitor.
I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, like if what you take it as is bad mouthing the competitor, then you probably already know what we're telling you. You just don't want to
hear it.
Admit it. Yeah, you don't want to hear it. And sometimes that's the worst, is that customers, you prove it factually what's going on. A ball bearing is factually more accurate than a gear.
Right.
Here's the numbers. Here's the measurements. Well, you're bad mouthing their drive system. No.
I'm
not.
giving you
I'm giving you
facts.
facts, and it sounds like bad mouthing because the truth hurts sometimes. But the reality is we don't go out and bad mouth our competitors. We have no reason to. I mean, and I think every one of us here have said it. Like, I'm not here to tell you what the competitors is doing wrong.
Right.
I'm here to tell you what we do differently. And whether you take that as them doing it wrong, well, then I think the facts are speaking for themselves, because ultimately we're here to sell on what we do.
Yep.
I'm not here to not sell their product. That's not my job, is to not sell their product.
Right.
Their job is to sell you on them. My job is to show you what I do differently.
Yep.
Why am I doing it differently? And in some cases, when I say we do this, they do this, this is why, it may sound like bad mouthing. Let's be honest. It's going to sound like it because we're telling you what we do differently.
Yep.
But our job is to tell you why we're doing it differently. And
Exactly.
if you allow us to, we'll always show you factually where the differences are.
Yeah, for sure. Comparisons, side-by-side comparisons, we'll break things down.
Yeah, exactly. And we have no reason to do that. And we talk about the misconception, there's a lot of misconception when you start looking at the competitor's product versus our product and what they tell you you're going to get versus what we're going to give you. And people on the outside don't see it all the time. When you look at our machines and you look at their machines, they're like, they're both CNC routers, or they're both CNC plasmas. But the reality is what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
Take the covers off.
What separates these two machines?
Yeah, start looking at it. And that's really something that you're going to see with our product, is that we're willing to do that. We're willing to kind of help you dive deep into that and help you go through the differences, the technological differences, the quality differences, the people differences.
Absolutely. That's stuff we drive home all the time on the phone. Like, we want to make sure you know every possible bit of information to make a smart decision.
Yeah, no, exactly. And one of the misconceptions is, as we said, when we tell you something the competitors don't do, that people take that as bad mouthing.
No,
and it's not. Yeah, it's not intended to be that way. So if you take it that way, we apologize. I mean, that's not ever what we're trying to do. But if you take it that way, I'm going to be honest. You're looking for a sales guy, not a consultant.
Right.
You want to be sold.
Yep.
If you want to be sold,
you want someone to give you the warm, fuzzy feelings. Yep.
You want that guy who's just going to tell you whatever you want to hear.
You're my best friend.
Yeah,
by the time we get off the
exactly.
phone.
Yep. That's what you're looking for. And don't get me wrong, we want that relationship with you. We want to have that good relationship, but I'm not going to do it at the expense of the truth.
Right.
I'm not going to lie to you to try to make a sale. I mean, that's not who we are. That's not what we're trying to do ever. And again, if you're looking for somebody to just tell you what you want to hear, then you're looking for a sales guy. You're not looking for a sales consultant.
Right.
Don't get sold, is my opinion.
Sell me this pen.
If you have to get sold on the product, then you didn't learn enough about the product. The product should sell you.
Absolutely. Educate yourself before you pick up the phone.
Yeah, and ShopSabre is really good on putting all that information on the website. We are very transparent.
Yep.
And there's a lot of companies out there that aren't so transparent. I mean, heck, there's a lot of companies out there that still tell people they're American made, and literally we can go on the internet and prove the documents that they're Chinese, right?
Show that they're coming from China.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy.
But I put a sticker on in America.
Yeah, and then people argue with us on it. Customers argue with us on the phone about, no, they're American made.
Right.
I have the document in my hand.
Right.
The document doesn't lie, So those are the type of things when you got to kind of take a step back and realize, where is the benefit of the sales guy telling you what he's telling you? Is he commission driven? If it is, then okay, he's got a benefit to tell you what you want to hear.
Absolutely.
But when a sales guy tells you, no, I have no commission coming to me, and every ShopSabre guy can tell you that because there's no commission coming to him, he has no benefit to waste more of his time.
Absolutely.
You have to think about that. Like, if he's wasting his time, it'd just be easier to be like, okay, yep, right, and walk away.
Absolutely.
If he's willing to have that argument with you or to help you try to see past it, he's probably trying to let you see something you're missing because he has no gain. It doesn't matter if you go and buy the competitor's machine or you don't buy the competitor's machine because he's getting his paycheck at the end of the week. And it would make sense that since he's not commission driven, just take the easy sales and keep going.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, we could walk away from those hard sales anytime we wanted to, but we don't. We stick with them. We work through them. We really fight to make sure that everyone knows as much as we can possibly share with them.
I think it goes back to a loyalty. When you talk about loyalty, we're loyal to the customers, but we're also loyal to the product. We're really loyal to the brand, and we don't want to sell out. We're not a company that wants to lose who we are for $1.
No.
We're really about...
Our reputation means a lot to us.
It does. And even not just us as a company, but as people.
Absolutely.
Jesse, I know that you've said it yourself. Like, this is your legacy.
Yeah.
This is who you are as a person.
Take a lot of pride in this.
Yeah.
A lot of pride in what I do. I try to set a high example. I set the bar high for customer service. I look at every situation as an equal partnership. Like, we're coming this as a team. I'm going to work with you to get you the best possible equipment at the best possible price and make sure that you got what you want and what you need, not what I wanted to sell you. So we really take that extra time. We go that extra distance to listen and really dial this in to get you into the right piece of machinery.
Exactly. And, that's the understanding you and your needs part of it. When we talk about the sales process, ShopSabre is really big on understanding who you are, what your company does, and understanding what your needs are so we can give you the best product. And sometimes the answers that we give you aren't going to be what you were hoping to hear.
Right.
Sometimes it's, I'm sorry, you do need to look at a bigger model, or you do need to look at a faster machine, or you need to look at this option. As much as you don't want to spend the money, it's better to spend a little bit more now than to regret your purchase forever.
Absolutely.
And that's really who we are, is we try to build a product that is for you. There's no cookie cutter companies out there.
Nope.
And that's really how we feel about it, is if you're not a cookie cutter company, you can't have a cookie cutter machine.
Right.
We can't just sell you an off the shelf, go to the Ford dealership lot and buy the red one.
I like the red one.
Yeah, Brandon, you can't just come out here and pick out the red one. All of our machines are custom built to order, and we put a lot of time into figuring out what options and what machine is right for you. So yeah, you can't just come down here and pick up. It's a cookie cutter machine.
Cookies.
I like
some
cookies.
Sorry, you got me there with cookies, and
Sorry,
I
man.
got excited. I lost my train of thought now, man. I just want cookies.
Yeah, I have some on the counter from yesterday, and now I want them.
Oh, you really threw me off with cookies.
I'm sorry.
Why do you got to use the word cookies like this? I told you that. It's a long weekend. I'm having a hard time getting going.
It's a rough week, I know.
I'm thinking about cookies.
I'll bring you some tomorrow, okay?
Thank you.
You got it.
I like cookies.
Me too.
Anyways, back into the topic of the red one. Like
The
you said,
red one.
Yeah, you really can't, though. You just can't come pick out a cookie cutter machine and cookies again. And every single time I say cookies, I'm just going to think about it. So let's just move on.
You want me to say cake?
No, I don't want you to say
Oh,
cake.
okay.
Sounds phenomenal as well. But yeah, with our machines, they are built to order. They are built to your configuration. Every time I say built now, I'm thinking of baked because you said cake, and I can't get going again. This is just a train wreck right now. I'm sorry, everyone. I just want some cake and cookies. But the reality is that's what you get from ShopSabre Sales is you get a more consultative method. You're getting somebody who wants to understand your product, understand your business, build our product to fit it. We want to mold what we're doing to fit what you do and really get you where you need to go. And that's what you get from direct sales, if you will, direct consultative sales, more than anything, where when you get into that commission sales, you get into that distribution sales, you're getting more of a what do I have available today kind of a situation, right?
Absolutely.
And when you look at that as what's easy, what's cheap, right? That's where you're going. And the one thing about consultative sales that you have to think about too is you're typically gonna get a better deal through a consultative sales method.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay less than you would through a commission sales driven person.
Well, it makes sense, right? There's no commission. There's no extra added expenses.
And it's not even that as much as it is. I mean, yes, you're right. Let's not forget that what you just said is 100% right there. But let's look at it. Even a ShopSabre, right?
Yep.
It may be more money than some of these other machines, these import machines out there.
Right, and we know that.
Yeah, because you're getting what you pay for and you get a better product. But you're going to get a bigger upfront break from a consultative sales guy, right? I mean, when you get a quote from a guy who's not commission paid, it doesn't not make sense for him just to go to the cheapest price he can sell it to you at.
Absolutely.
There's no reason to hold on to margin there.
No,
let's just, here's what my price is. Here's my discount. Here's your dollars out the door.
There's nothing to debate.
Yeah. The sales guy who makes commission is going to say, here's our price. Do you like it?
No.
Okay. What about now?
It's getting better.
How about now?
Can you take a little more off?
How about that?
All right. That looks like it's right where I need to be.
Got him. He didn't take it all. Right? I mean, that's how you feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you keep going back asking for a little more, and the guy keeps changing the price on you. Like, how many times can this guy change the price before it's like, he can't change the price anymore?
Exactly.
So you just keep asking for more, and then eventually you're like, okay, I think I got him all the way down. Right?
Maybe.
It's like playing Price is Right.
Absolutely.
Like, you remember the Price is Right when they had that little yodeler guy, and he goes up the top of the thing? Yeah, that guy, remember?
Yep.
And you had to tell him when to stop, but if you said too late, like
he
fell off the mountain, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's what you're playing with your sales. Like, oh, the yodeler's getting there.
Getting
Are we gonna get
close.
it? Are we gonna, oh, I fell off the mountain. Dang it, we screwed up. That's one of those things where, and the thing that's always in my mind when I have to haggle for my sales, whenever I deal with anything, I buy anything where I'm haggling, I always feel like, did somebody else get a better deal than me?
Yeah.
Did I leave something on the table? Did the guy that called right after me, did he get a better deal? Yeah, and that's not a good feeling.
No, it's not.
It's something I don't like at all. The reality is at ShopSabre, we try to be very universal across the board on that stuff. And
very, very.
It's easy because then it doesn't matter if you talk to Jesse, if you talk to Travis, you talk to Chad, you talk to Micah, me. It really doesn't matter who you speak to. The price is the price.
You're going to get the same deal.
Correct. And that's the thing that, there's certain guys that, you go to a certain company out there and you might have a better sales guy than another sales guy, right?
Yep.
And the better sales guy is always kicking everybody else's butt. So the not so hot sales guy is probably willing to throw more in to try to beat the better sales guy. Would he not?
I'd say you're probably onto something there.
So it's like you got to try to find the guy who's really having a bad month and wants to make a deal, right?
Let me talk to the guy with the lowest numbers.
Yeah. Thanks for calling Bob's Supply Shop. This is Brandon. Oh, Brandon, who's losing in sales there today? That's Craig. Can I talk to Craig, please?
Him on the phone.
That's what you're looking for is the guy who's just getting his butt kicked.
Yep.
That guy's desperate, right?
Yep.
That's not what you want. The guy is getting his butt kicked for a reason, for one.
Right.
For two, you don't want to be that guy who you're trying to find the best deal because you're hoping that you got the right guy, right? I mean,
right.
With a consultative sales method, you end up with a more complete process. You get better customer service up front, you get a better deal up front, and you get what you need.
And you get honesty.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of the evolution of sales. Again, going back to it, you aren't reliant on the person on the phone. You're not relying that person is going to tell you everything you need to know, right? You have the internet.
Right.
Go check it out.
Let's back up to that. Let's be fair, too. Anyone that's gone and checked out our website, it'd be really hard to pull one over on somebody because we put everything on the website. More content, more information, more videos than any other company out there, I would say.
Who else has a podcast?
No one.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like we're pretty transparent, right? We're talking about the things that people need to talk about. We're trying to teach you what you need to know. Like that's who we are. Like ShopSabre as a whole has always been about the people. I mean, our original motto as this company founded, Jim, my dad, started this thing with, the way CNC was meant to be. Because we're doing it differently than everybody else. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't do it cookie cutter. What cookies again?
Cookies.
Dang it.
Cake cutters?
Cookies, eh?
Cake cutters, pie cutter. There we go. But we're not doing it the same way everybody else does.
Right.
ShopSabre does it our own unique way. And we do it because we believe in the customer first, and we've kind of been the one to mold the industry in that front. We've done things differently on purpose, and you kind of see a lot of these companies kind of mimicking what we do a lot of the times.
A little bit.
And it kind of makes us laugh a little bit. You see people that swear what we're doing is wrong, and then like a year later they're doing it too.
They're doing the same thing.
So it wasn't that wrong, was it?
If you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because when you start looking at ShopSabre's always kind of pushing things forward, and I really believe if we fast forward in sales, give it 5 years, and everybody's gonna be doing the sales the same way we are.
I agree with you.
I don't see this thing going the other direction. I don't see commission-driven sales being the wave of the future. I think that was a thing of the past. People don't like that used car feeling where you feel like you got to haggle and get the best deal you can. People don't like it. And in today's world, it's just a lot easier to buy on one set price and then understand the product. Either you can or you can't afford the product, right?
That's it.
I mean, that's how I've always looked at it. Like, give me the price it's going to cost me. I can either afford it or I can't afford it.
Yep.
There's no reason to play the game in between.
Absolutely.
No reason to lead me along to believe I'm going to be able to afford this thing. If the price can't go low enough to hit my budget, I can't afford it.
Right.
And it is what it is. And that's where, we're going to be talking about this in an upcoming episode. We're going to be talking about financing, and we're going to be talking about ways to make CNC affordable. And there's little tricks and solutions to doing so that we will talk about in an upcoming episode. Garrett, I believe that's episode 9 that we're talking about that. Is that not, Garrett?
Wow. Next week?
Next week, right? It's next week. I think so. Anyways, we're gonna talk about some cool stuff that's gonna help you make CNC affordable again. And that's something that you need to think about is there's ways to do it the right way. And one of them is get rid of that commission.
Right.
You're getting more for your money.
Cut that guy out.
Cut that guy out. Get yourself into a company that truly is worried more about what you're doing, not what they're doing. And for us, if we take care of you, we're taking care of ourselves generally.
It's a pretty good circle.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy. The circle of life.
God, that was a beautiful tone.
Thank you. I was trying that. Lion King, nailed it.
I got that.
Thank you. I don't know why, but you said circle. That's what came to mind.
No, it was beautiful.
Yeah, God, I'm really just
on it today.
Yeah. But the reality is when you start looking at who we are as a company and who a lot of companies are out there is they're two different things. You got guys who are still thinking about how to sell you something, and how to make you believe it, right? And then there's people, and there's companies out there, we're not the only one. There's companies out there that are more about teaching you about the educational side of it, right?
Yeah.
Educating you, making you understand it so that way you just sell yourself.
Right.
I mean, really, that's what it's about. It's one of those deals. It's a lot easier to work with a customer that sells themselves than to try to force somebody into something they're not comfortable with.
Absolutely. Then you have to remember that going forward. You have to be able to massage that and keep that going instead of just being true, being genuine, being who you are.
Exactly. And you know what? Like I said, sometimes it may come across like we are bad mouthing, and again, that's never.
I hate that.
I know I do too. I hate it.
I'm just telling you the truth.
Yeah, it's probably one of the things that sticks with me the worst is when guys say that you're bad mouthing somebody. And it's like I don't know how to explain it.
Well, how am I supposed to tell you what I need to tell you without it coming across this way?
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I don't know how to explain it any differently other than, I'm sorry, they're just not doing this, so I have to tell you that. I have to be the guy that tells you.
Right.
If I don't, who's going to tell you?
It's a tough job, but someone's got to tell them, right, Brandon?
Somebody's got to tell them, exactly. And, the other thing about sales is you have a really real person on really real. That was really messed up. But you have a real.
I've talked to a lot of fake people lately.
Yeah, let's try this again.
Yeah.
You have real people on the phone. You're not dealing with a guy who's reading out of a manual or out of a book telling you what you want to hear. You have guys who genuinely care about what they're doing.
Yep.
Who this is their career. They're being fully invested into what they do. They're not just stepping stone. I'm going to go do something else down the road. You know, the guys here, I mean, generally speaking, I mean, they're very much embedded in the company. They want to be a part of the solution. They're out there building machines with their hands before they're in the sales side. They've actually taken the time to train themselves to understand the product.
Yep, absolutely.
And there's a very real side of how they've gotten to where they are from the company. They didn't just become a sales guy because we hired them and then handed them a manual and told them what to say.
Right.
They had to understand the product.
Absolutely. Yeah, we spend a couple weeks out on the floor building machines when you start here.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what
you
guys
have
do.
to understand it. And so the reality of what you're getting with the ShopSabre sales side is you're getting a more completed aspect. You're getting somebody who understands it start to finish, but also understands you start to finish.
And cares about you start to finish.
And that's where it comes back to is, the commission-driven sales, the distribution sales versus the consultative sales. There's 3 ways you can buy CNC machines. Mm-hmm. There's 3 different outcomes you're going to get with that.
Absolutely.
You're not always going to get the cheapest machine when you're looking with a consultant. They're not generally looking to keep the price at the lowest price possible.
Right.
Because generally speaking, the lowest price possible isn't the right solution. It's low for a reason.
Absolutely. We make recommendations for what you're doing. That's the whole idea behind it.
Yeah. And so then you have the distribution sale. The point of distribution is getting as many machines out there as possible. It's quantity.
Yep.
Not quality.
Not
it's quantity.
quality.
That's why the hired distribution is. They can get in touch with more people faster, right?
Yep.
Again, it doesn't necessarily give you the product you need.
No, it doesn't.
And then you have consultative sales. And consultative sales is to consult you, to help you understand what you're going to get for your money, what you need for your business, and how are you going to get there.
To listen to your needs and provide you a solution.
So when we look at consultative sales, the negative side of it is it's not going to always be the fastest sale possible, right?
Correct.
They're going to want to know more information about you. They're going to want to ask you questions about why you do something, how you do something. They're going to ask questions.
They do.
And sometimes that makes people uncomfortable. Like when you question the way you do something, right? I've been doing this for 30 years. Why do you do it that way? Like, it's not that we're telling you you're doing it wrong. We're trying to understand why you do it so then we can suggest ways to do it more efficiently.
Right.
And there's ways that we can help you move forward. You're looking at a CNC machine for a reason, right?
Right.
There's usually a reason why you're looking at this. You either want to be more efficient or more profitable, right?
Exactly.
You're not going to get there by doing it the same way you've done it for the last 30 years.
No, you're not.
So you got to change something.
Something big, like adding a CNC machine.
Adding a CNC machine is a big part of it.
You got to close that gap. You got to make it more competitive with your competition.
Exactly. And if the machine doesn't work efficiently in your business, did you really help yourself?
No, you hurt yourself.
Yeah, because now what you used to do for 30 years and you were really good at, now you can't do it that way because you have a machine, but now the machine doesn't work the way it needs to, so you have to still do it the way you did it before, partially.
So we're going backwards.
Yeah, so you're kind of using the machine to go backwards. That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
So that's why we ask you questions. That's why we tell you what we do differently that the competitor doesn't do.
That's why we take the time to get to know you.
Yeah, and there's parts that you have to understand with a machine and how things are done or technology that's being used so that way you can make the decision of, is this right for me?
Yep.
So,
information overload to make the right decision.
Correct, exactly. I'd rather understand too much than not enough.
Right.
And as you start looking at the world we're in today, everybody wants instant gratification, right?
Yep.
Everybody just wants, give me the price today and let's go, right?
Yep.
That world doesn't work on everything. This isn't a drive to Walmart and buy something off the shelf.
We're seeing it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go to the internet, find a machine on the internet, hit buy, and then have it run the same way. It's just not going to work that way.
Right.
So there's the importing side of things exists for people who want to be cheap. Let's be honest. That's the only reason people import is because they want to be cheap.
Need to get the price down.
Yeah, that's the only reason somebody imports a machine. It's not because they're getting a better product, not because they're getting better service.
No, we know that.
I think everybody who ever has bought something from overseas knows they're not getting the same level of support or
quality.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a given.
Yep.
So you've come to the realization that if you want something quality, you need something local.
Yep.
You need to buy something in the U.S. You need to buy something within your support network. And then you need somebody who's going to support the entire product for the long term.
Who's going to stand behind it?
Yep. And so then that kind of breaks it down to you're either buying it from a dealer or you're buying it from the OEM.
Yep.
Well, again, the dealer has its hurdles. If he's not going to sell that brand anymore, they discontinue it or whatever it is, there's a disconnect there. There's only one person that you can rely on if you're going to buy something from it. It's the OEM.
Buy it direct.
Yep. I mean, you go to the Ford dealership to buy a Ford, right?
Yep.
You're not buying that from a Chrysler dealership.
Right.
You're generally going to get better service on a Ford vehicle from a Ford. Yeah, like a Ford rep. It's the same sort of thing. Go directly to the OEM and get the service and the information you need.
not a whole lot of benefit going to a distributor. So why don't we just take him out of the middle? Right?
Exactly.
Contact us directly.
That's exactly who we are. We're people who want to take care of you. You know, hopefully in today's episode, we've been able to teach you a little bit more about the sales process. Hopefully some of the things we said resonated a little bit. I'm sure we struck a chord here or there, but that's kind of who we are. So I'm okay with being real. I'm okay with being real. And you know, hopefully somebody's out there getting some cookies now,
or some cake,
cookies. Man, I want some of all that right now.
Glass of milk.
No, I don't want any milk. I want cookies.
You can't have cookies without milk.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes,
it's
you can.
un-American.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I better go get some milk then.
Cookies and
I want
milk.
to be pretty American over here. I guess I never thought of the American flag and then cookies and milk.
Well, what do you
I guess
dip
that
your
didn't-
cookies in? Pop? Pepsi? Milk?
No, that's
You just eat them dry?
yeah.
That's terrible.
What?
Yeah, who eats dry cookies? You got to have milk.
Well,
Do we need to take a poll on this? Should we ask the crowd? Guys,
Yeah.
everyone out there, who prefers milk with their cookies?
there's this week's question for you. Do you prefer milk with your cookies?
Or do you
Answer
want them
it.
dry like Brandon does?
I didn't say dry cookies. It can still be soft cookies. They just don't have to be with milk.
I guess so.
But I guess that's going to have to wrap it up today. I'm Brandon.
I'm Jesse.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.